So today we won't have a video clip of Eileen fencing, but I was wondering if you, Eileen, could walk us through your journey to the Rio 2016 Olympics. I was reading up on your journey, and it seems like as if it was a emotional roller coaster. So I was wondering if you could walk us through your mindset during that process and how you eventually made it to Rio.
Yeah, wow. That was definitely a roller coaster, especially in the last bit. Basically, I had been wanting, like, the Olympics were my dream since I was a kid, and I picked up fencing because I got really excited. First of all, I like Star Wars and all those things, but also it was during the summer of the 2000 Olympic Games. And I remember, like, I was always super excited and impressed by, like, the opening ceremonies and all that, and I was like, I want to do that. And when the opportunity to start fencing came around, the coach of that fencing club, which was in Davis, California, outside of that fencing club, when he was trying to convince me to start the sport, he was like, you could go to the Olympics. And I was like, what? And then I was hooked. So it had been like, that was in 2000. And so it had taken me, like, I had tried for 3 Olympics. I had tried for Beijing, London, and Rio. And actually, I don't know how many people know this, but, like, I initially failed at qualifying for all 3 by basically like only 1 or 2 points each time. Beijing was a little bit more complicated, but for London, I lost by 1 point to go at the Olympic qualifier. And then in Rio, I lost the final of the Olympic qualifier to go. And so when that happened, I basically was like, I'm done. This is my career. Like, I need to move on. Like, it's been 16 years and maybe it's time. It was really tough emotionally to deal with, especially after I had planned on stopping after London. And I was like, no, I'm going to go another 4 years, try to make it. But basically what happened was that same year in 2016, the Pan American Championships were actually in Panama. So it wasn't like when I failed to qualify for Rio, I could just drop everything, which at the time felt really difficult and hard. I was like, I don't know if I can even pick up a saber again. I was so distraught about, kind of that, not making that goal. And so I picked it back up again after basically, like, eating Chinese takeout and being depressed for a couple months, sitting in my house and wondering what I'm going to do with my life. I was like, no, I have to pick this back up. I'm going to go out with a bang, right? I'm going to go to Panama, compete in front of my country, compete in front of my, all the people who have always supported me. And, like, I want a medal. Like, this will be like my way of making myself happy with my career. At least I can end it on a good note. I went to Panama. I was fencing very well. And then I lost early, and it was even more crushing. But maybe about, like, an hour after I lost, the person who had beat me in the Olympic qualifier got black carded at that same competition. Which meant, it was kind of a longer story than this, but basically that meant that instead I would go to the Olympic Games because she had been banned for 2 months, which covered August. It was pretty much the craziest thing I've ever seen happen, and a lot of crazy things have happened in our sport. That's a lie, but it was pretty crazy because I wasn't sure for a long time whether or not that would hold. As you know, there's lots of politics in our sport. It went away, it came back, it went away. There was, like, all this infighting, and all of a sudden, I was notified in, like, July. Actually, it was literally, like, 2 days ago to this day, 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
That actually I had, because I was the second in line, both in points and in the Olympic qualifier, that I had been bumped up and I was going to Rio.
Oh, wow.
So like in maybe a month, I mean, it must have been, it was like a month before the Olympic Games. All of a sudden it was like, boom, no, you're going, it's like your biggest dream, you're going. And I was like, oh my God. And it was really, like, it was crazy, but it was also in many ways kind of a blessing because I went into it so happy to be there, and not just, like, wanting to do well, but also just, like, really joyful that I had the opportunity when I didn't think that it was going to be presented to me. And I think that that's why I fenced so well. I mean, my result for myself wasn't the best, but I fenced really well, and I was really happy with that. So anyways, that's a really long answer. But it was a lot of, like, picking myself back up again, then getting crushed again. And that's kind of like a little microcosm of what fencing is,
Yeah.
when you decide to stick with it for so long, but it was like all squished into like 1 or 2 months.
For sure.